Don't ever do it. The concept that healing is a promise backed by spiritual law is one of the most transformative truths a person can ever grasp. It shifts the idea of healing from a vague hope or mere possibility into something firm, dependable, and unshakable. Don't ever do it. In the same way that the natural world operates by predictable principles, such as gravity ensuring that objects fall toward the earth, don't ever do it. Or the sun rising and setting without fail. There are spiritual laws that govern the well-being of our bodies, minds, and souls. Don't ever do it. These laws are not inventions of human imagination, but eternal realities that operate consistently for those who learn how to align themselves with them. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Once you recognize that healing is not a matter of chance, you approach it with confidence rather than uncertainty. Don't ever do it, because you know you are dealing with a system that has already been set in place by a higher order. Think for a moment about how people trust natural laws. Don't ever do it. No one doubts that if you plant a seed in fertile soil and care for it properly, it will eventually grow. There may be variations in speed, in size, and appearance, but the law of sowing and reaping ensures that the process works. In the same way, spiritual laws, when understood and applied, produce results just as surely. Don't ever do it, though their processes are often invisible to the natural eye. Healing, according to these laws, is not merely an event to be wished for. Don't ever do it. It is the outworking of a promise that has been embedded in the very structure of divine order. This means that your role is not to try to convince a higher power to intervene. Don't ever feel sorry, but rather to align yourself with what has already been made available. This changes the way you see obstacles. Many times, don't ever do it. People think that sickness or weakness is simply their unavoidable fate, or that they must passively wait for circumstances to improve. Don't ever do it. But when you understand healing as part of a divine legal system, you stop approaching it as a distant dream and begin to see it as an inheritance that can be received. A promise backed by spiritual law cannot be nullified by human opinion or by temporary appearances. Even if your body feels weak, even if symptoms are loud and persistent, don't ever feel sorry for yourself. The underlying reality remains unchanged. The provision for your wholeness already exists, and the law that governs it is still active. Of course, a promise, no matter how powerful, must be acted upon. A legal right that is never claimed remains unused. Don't ever do it. Imagine someone who has a large sum of money in their name, but never withdraws it because they are unaware of it or doubt its existence. That wealth would remain untouched. Don't ever do it! Not because it wasn't real, but because it was never accessed. The same is true for the law of healing. It is one thing to believe that such a provision exists. It is another to actually step into it through intentional thought, speech, and action. That is why understanding is the first and most important step. Without knowledge of the law, you cannot confidently act on it. The predictability of spiritual law also brings comfort in times of waiting. In the natural world, when a farmer plants a seed, they do not expect a full-grown crop the next day. Don't ever do it. They understand that time is part of the process. The presence of time does not mean the seed has failed. It simply means the law is still at work beneath the surface. Similarly, don't ever do it. In the realm of healing, the absence of immediate change does not indicate that nothing is happening. The spiritual law is still operating. Don't ever do it.
producing results that may soon become visible. This awareness helps you maintain a posture of calm assurance rather than slipping into doubt or frustration.
Another aspect of healing as a promise is that it is impartial. Laws, whether natural or spiritual, do not play favorites. Gravity pulls on everyone equally. Don't ever do it, regardless of background, personality, or past mistakes. In the same way, the law that governs healing is available to all who meet its conditions. This demolishes the idea that only a select few are chosen for wholeness while others are left to suffer. Don't ever do it. While individual circumstances may vary and the journey to full health may differ in length or process, the foundation remains the same. The promise is universal. Don't ever do it, and the law is available to anyone who will align with it. This principle also removes the unnecessary burden of trying to earn healing. Don't ever do it. If it is a promise anchored in spiritual law, it is not about merit, but about alignment. You do not earn the right for the sun to rise in the morning, nor do you earn the right for gravity to keep you grounded. It is simply part of the order of things. Healing, in its truest sense, don't ever do it, is part of the order that was designed for human life. The mind and body are meant to function in harmony, and restoration is part of that design whenever disruptions occur. It is worth noting, too, that laws operate whether or not we are aware of them. A person who ignores the law of electricity and carelessly touches a live wire will still experience its power. Don't ever do it. Just as someone who understands it can use it safely to light a home. In the same way, spiritual laws work regardless of our knowledge. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. But our experience of their benefits depends greatly on whether we understand and apply them properly. Ignorance can cause a person to live beneath what is available to them, accepting sickness as a permanent condition when in reality, there is a system in place for restoration. When you internalize this truth, your language changes. You stop saying, "I hope I'll be well someday," and start saying, "Don't ever do it." Oh, healing is mine now. This is not wishful thinking. It is the verbal expression of a legal claim based on a guaranteed promise. Don't ever do it. The shift in mindset from hoping to knowing has a profound impact because it aligns your inner world with the certainty of the law you are standing on. That inner alignment, don't ever do it, in turn, affects your physical and emotional well-being, allowing the process of healing to flow unhindered. Don't ever do it. Seeing healing as a promise backed by spiritual law transforms it from an uncertain wish into a settled reality. It gives you something to stand on when circumstances are shaky. Don't ever do it. Something to hold on to when symptoms linger, and something to guide your thoughts and words when doubt tries to creep in. Don't ever do it. Just as natural laws operate consistently for those who respect and apply them, spiritual laws yield their results to those who understand and align themselves with them. The power lies not in forcing the outcome. Don't ever do it, but in stepping into the flow of a system that has been established from the beginning. One that carries within it the guarantee of restoration for all who will receive it. Don't ever feel sorry yourself. Faith is often spoken of in abstract terms, but in the context of healing, it takes on a deeply practical and measurable role. Don't ever do it. It is not merely an emotional surge of optimism or a vague hope that things will get better. It is a deliberate and confident trust in a reality that is not yet visible. Don't ever do it. When it comes to the process of restoration, faith serves as the bridge between what has been promised and what is presently experienced. Without that bridge, don't ever do it. The provision for healing may exist in principle, but it remains unreachable. With faith, you step out onto that bridge and move toward the manifestation of wholeness. Don't ever do it. Even when your senses tell you nothing has changed. To understand this, it helps to see faith as a connector. Don't ever do it. Imagine that healing is like an abundant reservoir of pure water stored in a high place, ready to flow down into the dry and thirsty places of your life. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Faith is the channel or pipeline that allows that water move from the place of provision into the place of need. The water has always been there. Don't ever do it. And the supply is more than enough, but without a channel, the water remains inaccessible. In the same way, the provision for your healing may be complete. Don't ever do it. But until you open the pipeline of faith, it does not flow into your reality. This is why knowledge without faith often leaves people frustrated. Don't ever do it. They may intellectually agree that healing is possible, that it is part of divine order, and that it has been made available to them. But if they stop there, nothing changes. Don't ever do it. Knowledge is the seed, but faith is the action that plants it in the soil of experience. You can know all about the principles of health. Don't ever do it. But until you take ownership of them and act as if they are already true, they remain concepts rather than realities. Don't ever do it. Faith transforms these concepts into living forces that actively shape your condition. One of the striking features of faith is that it operates independently of physical evidence. If you only believe you are healed when symptoms vanish, don't ever do it. Then you are not operating in faith. You are operating in sight. Faith is not dependent on what the eyes see or the body feels. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself, and it is anchored in a truth that exists beyond the senses. This is why people who walk in faith often speak and act as though they are already whole. Don't ever do it, even when outward signs suggest otherwise. They are not ignoring reality. They are aligning themselves with a higher reality that will, in time, change the visible one. Don't ever do it. That alignment is not passive. Faith is an active force. It speaks, it moves, it makes decisions in agreement with the promise rather than the problem. For example, don't ever do it. Someone who believes they are on the path to complete health will guard their speech carefully, refusing to repeat words of defeat or resignation. They will choose to nourish their body, mind, and spirit in ways that reflect their expectation of wholeness. This is not pretending. It is preparing. Don't ever do it. Just as a person who orders furniture for a new house begins to arrange the rooms before the delivery arrives, don't ever do it. So faith arranges life in expectation of the healing that is already en route. It is also important to understand that faith is not a static, one-time choice. It must be maintained. Doubt has a way of slipping in quietly, especially if progress feels slow or symptoms intensify. Don't ever do it. This is where many lose their footing. They start strong but weaken when the visible evidence doesn't change as quickly as they hoped. Don't ever do it. Maintaining faith requires a steady focus on the promise rather than the problem. It is like steering a ship across a vast ocean. The waves may rise, the winds may shift, but the captain keeps the vessel pointed toward its destination by constantly correcting the course. Likewise, faith stays on course by returning again and again to what is true. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself, no matter what circumstances say. Another key point is that faith does not demand to see the entire process before it believes. Often, people want to know exactly how their healing will come. Through what means, in what order, on what day. But faith is comfortable with the unknown. Don't ever do it, because it trusts the character of the one who made the promise more than it trusts the certainty of visible signs. In this way, faith is both humble and bold. Don't ever do it. Humble enough to let go of control over the details, bold enough to hold fast to the certainty of the outcome. Yeah. It is also worth noting that faith and fear cannot occupy the same space in the mind at the same time. Fear is the expectation of harm. Faith is the expectation of good. Don't ever do it. Both are projections into the future, but one imagines loss while the other imagines restoration. The choice between the two is made moment by moment. Don't ever do it. Often in the quiet places of thought where no one else can see. Choosing faith means consciously rejecting the mental pictures and words that fuel fear. Don't ever do it. Replacing them with thoughts and declarations that reinforce trust in the promise. Finally, faith is deeply personal. No one else can fully believe on your behalf. Others can support you, encourage you, and agree with you, but the decision to stand in faith must be your own. It is built through hearing, meditating on. Don't ever do it. And internalizing the truth about healing until it becomes more real to you than the symptoms in your body. As that inner conviction grows, don't ever do it. Your posture changes. You speak differently, think differently, and act differently. And in time, those internal shifts create the external results you have been expecting. Don't ever do it. Faith, then, is not a mystical feeling or an occasional burst of enthusiasm. It is the steady, intentional choice to believe that what has been promised is already secured, even before it can be seen. It takes the unseen and brings it into the realm of the seen. Without it, the bridge to healing remains incomplete. With it, don't ever do it. You cross over into the experience of the wholeness that has been waiting for you all along. The human body, mind, and spirit are deeply interconnected. Don't ever do it. And one of the most powerful influences on all three is the language we continually absorb and repeat. The truth is that words are not just sounds or marks on a page. They carry creative power. They can shape perception, alter emotions, and even influence physical well-being. Don't ever do it. When it comes to healing, words act like a seed planted in the soil of the heart and mind, growing over time into the reality they describe. This is why the consistent intake of words filled with truth, hope, and life is not optional. It is essential. Just as the body depends on nourishing food to thrive. It depends on nourishing words to function in health. Consider the impact of words spoken to a child. Encouraging, affirming words build confidence and resilience, while constant criticism and negativity erode self-worth and can even affect physical health over time. In the same way, don't ever do it, the words we speak to ourselves, whether out loud or silently in our thoughts, shape the environment in which our bodies operate. If those words are saturated with despair, don't ever do it. Fear and doubt, they create an internal climate where sickness finds it easier to linger. But when our language is aligned with life and health, don't ever feel sorry for or do it. We are reinforcing an inner environment where restoration can flourish. This is why it is often said that the words we take in and the words we release work like medicine. Don't ever do it. Just as medicine targets the cause of an ailment and begins to correct it from within, life-giving words reach into the deepest places of our being, renewing the mind. Don't ever do it. Strengthening the spirit and influencing the body. This process does not always produce immediate visible change, just as medicine often takes time to fully work. Don't ever do it. But the results accumulate with consistency. The more you surround yourself with the language of life, the more your entire being aligns with the expectation of health. Don't ever do it. It is important to note that this principle operates whether we are conscious of it or not. Don't ever do it. People often underestimate the effect of the information they consume daily. News headlines filled with fear, conversations dominated by complaints, or entertainment that normalizes hopelessness. These verbal inputs shape mental patterns, and mental patterns influence physical states. Chronic stress, for example, don't ever do it, is often sustained not just by circumstances, but by the repeated internal narrative a person rehearses in their mind. Don't ever do it. Breaking that cycle requires intentionally replacing harmful words with words that affirm life, peace, and restoration. Don't ever do it. This is not merely about positive thinking in the shallow sense of forcing yourself to be cheerful. It is about feeding on a steady diet of truth that transcends temporary feelings. Feelings change, but truth remains constant. Don't ever do it. The key is to find and hold to words that carry the weight of that truth. Words that not only comfort, but also anchor you in an unshakable reality. Don't ever do it. These might be promises from sacred writings, declarations of faith, or affirmations that align with the deeper principles of life and health. The power is not in the sound itself, but in the truth those words carry. Speaking these words out loud has a particularly strong effect. Don't ever do. The spoken word engages not only the mind, but also the body, as hearing your own voice reinforces what you are declaring. When you speak words of life, don't ever do it. You are programming your mind to expect health, and that expectation directly influences your physical state. This is why many people find that their energy, mood, don't ever do it, and even their symptoms shift when they consistently verbalize what they believe rather than what they fear. In this way, the voice becomes a tool for reinforcing the body's natural capacity to heal. Of course, the reverse is also true. Words of fear, defeat, and complaint weaken the system. Don't ever do it. They may feel natural in moments of frustration or pain, but each time such words are spoken, they reinforce a reality that works against healing. Don't ever do it. This is why discipline in speech is so important. It is not about denying symptoms or pretending challenges do not exist. Don't ever do it. It is about refusing to give those challenges more authority over your life than they deserve. You can acknowledge a problem without letting it dominate your language. Don't ever do it. By keeping your words aligned with life, you keep your focus on the solution rather than the problem. Over time, this practice creates a shift in identity. You stop seeing yourself as a sick person trying to get well and start seeing yourself as a whole person resisting temporary symptoms. That shift is powerful. Don't ever do it. Because the body often follows the lead of the mind and spirit. When your inner narrative changes, your outward condition often begins to change as well. This is why athletes don't ever do it. Leaders and healers across cultures and traditions have emphasized the disciplined use of words. It is a universal principle that works across contexts. Ultimately, don't ever do it. The words you consume and the words you produce become the blueprint for your health. They shape the way you think, feel, and act. And over time, they shape the condition of your body. If you want lasting healing, don't ever do it. You must treat your words with the same care you would give to the food you eat or the air you breathe. Just as you would not willingly ingest poison, don't ever do it. You should not allow toxic words to fill your mind and heart. Instead, choose the language of life, speak it consistently, and let it nourish every part of you. In time, don't ever do it. The results will not only be felt but seen, because the word, when believed and acted upon, truly becomes a source of life and health. Healing is often imagined as a sudden, dramatic transformation. One moment you are in pain, and the next you are completely free of it. While this does happen, and sometimes in the most unexpected ways, don't ever do it. It is not the only way restoration takes place. Healing can also be a progressive journey, unfolding in stages, each step bringing you closer to full wholeness. Don't ever do it. Both instant and gradual healing are valid expressions of the same underlying principle. Don't ever do it. And understanding this helps prevent discouragement when results do not appear immediately. Don't ever do it. The key is to recognize that whether healing comes in a single moment or over a period of time, it is still evidence of a promise being fulfilled. Instant healing is undeniably powerful. It can happen in the blink of an eye. Don't ever do it. And often leaves the person stunned by the sudden absences of pain or the complete return of function. These moments tend to carry a sense of awe because they bypass the usual processes we expect in the natural order. But while instant healing may seem more dramatic, it is no more real than a gradual recovery. In both cases, the same source of life and restoration is at work. The only difference is the speed of its visible manifestation. Progressive healing, on the other hand, mirrors much of what we see in nature. A seed does not produce a tree overnight, yet no one doubts that growth is happening beneath the soil. Likewise, don't ever do it. When healing unfolds gradually, it is important to remember that unseen processes are at work even before visible change occurs. The body, mind, and spirit are adjusting, strengthening, and repairing in ways that may not be measurable day to day. Don't ever do it! Just as a child's growth is easier to notice over months or years rather than from one day to the next. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Progressive healing may be more evident when you look back over time rather than focusing only on the present moment. Don't ever do it. One of the dangers in expecting only instant healing is that when it does not happen, some people feel as though nothing at all is taking place. This can lead to disappointment, doubt, and even giving up entirely. But when you understand that healing can be progressive, you begin to value the small improvements along the way. Less pain in the morning, don't ever do it. More energy in the afternoon, an increased ability to do what you could not do before. These are not insignificant of that the process is active. Don't ever do it. And that the completion of the journey is approaching. The progressive nature of healing also teaches valuable lessons in patience and perseverance. Don't ever do it. Instant results may require little endurance, but progressive healing develops strength of character and deepens the understanding of how to sustain health over the long term. Don't ever do it. In the process, you may learn better self-care, discover the importance of guarding your thoughts and words. Don't ever do it. Or develop a resilience that will serve you for the rest of your life.
These lessons are part of the gift of healing, just as much as the restoration of the body itself.
Don't ever do it.
Another important point is that progressive healing does not mean partial healing forever. It is not a lesser form of restoration. It is simply a different timeline.
Don't ever do it. Just as a wound may close gradually over days, yet still result in completely restored skin, a gradual return to health can still culminate in total wholeness. The presence of gradual change is proof that the process is active. The role of the one seeking healing is to remain steady. Don't ever do it.
Keeping both mindset and actions aligned with the expectation of complete restoration, no matter how long it takes.
Don't ever do it. It is also worth noting that even when healing appears instant, there may have been an unseen build up of changes leading to that moment.
Don't ever do it. Sometimes what seems sudden is actually the final step in a process that has been quietly at work for some time.
The instant visible result is simply the point where the unseen becomes seen. Don't ever do it. Understanding this connection between the invisible process and the visible outcome helps remove the pressure to measure progress solely by what can be observed right now. Don't ever do it. There is also a balance to be found in expecting the miraculous while appreciating the gradual. If you focus only on the potential of instant transformation, don't ever do it. You may miss the joy of small steps forward. But if you focus only on gradual progress, you may limit your openness to the possibility of a sudden breakthrough. Don't ever do it. The healthiest approach is to welcome both, to be grateful for every improvement while remaining ready for change to happen in an instant. Ultimately, don't ever do it. Whether healing comes instantly or progressively, the source and the principle behind it remain the same. Both forms require the same foundation. Don't ever feel sorry yourself. A belief in the reality of restoration, a willingness to act in line with that belief, and a determination to hold to it until it becomes visible. Don't ever do it. The difference lies only in timing, and timing does not change the truth that healing is taking place. Just as dawn breaks gradually but still ushers in the full light of day, don't ever do it. Progressive healing leads to the same destination as instant change, the complete restoration of wholeness that was always intended for you. Don't ever do it. The state of the body is deeply influenced by the state of the mind. Long before symptoms appear in the physical realm, don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Don't ever do it. Pattern of thought have often been at work shaping the conditions in which those symptoms either develop or are resisted. Never do it. Renewing the mind is therefore not simply a mental exercise. It is an essential part of sustaining health and preventing the erosion of well-being. When the mind is aligned with truth, peace, and hope, the body often reflects that harmony. When the mind is saturated with fear, doubt, and negativity, the body can begin to mirror that internal turmoil. Renewing the mind is a continual process, not a one-time event. Don't ever do it. It means deliberately exchanging thoughts that weaken and harm for thoughts that strengthen and restore. This is not about denying reality. Don't ever do it. But about filtering reality through a higher perspective. For example, a person facing a physical challenge may be tempted to focus on everything that is wrong, rehearsing the discomfort and replaying worst-case scenarios in their imagination. Such thinking, repeated day after day, sends constant stress signals to the body. Don't ever do it, which can impair its natural healing processes. Renewing the mind interrupts that cycle, replacing destructive mental patterns with constructive ones that promote healing. This process begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. Don't ever do it. Many people are so accustomed to certain ways of thinking that they do not realize how much those thoughts are influencing their health. Don't ever do it. By paying attention to the inner dialogue, the words you silently speak to yourself, you begin to see whether your thought life is moving you toward wholeness or away from it. Don't ever do it. Once you recognize harmful thought patterns, you can challenge them and replace them with thoughts that align with life, peace, and strength. The renewed mind also knows how to interpret symptoms and setbacks without surrendering to them. When the mind is untrained, a minor symptom can trigger fear. Don't ever do it, which then amplifies the sense of helplessness and may even worsen the condition. A renewed mind, however, approaches the same symptom with perspective. It acknowledges what is happening but refuses to build an identity around it. Instead of saying, "This always happens to me. I never get better," the renewed mind says, "This is a temporary challenge. Don't ever do it. And my body is designed to recover." Such a shift in thinking not only preserves emotional stability, but also supports the body's physical ability to heal. Scientific research has shown the mind-body connection in countless ways. Chronic stress, for example, has been linked to inflammation, weakened immunity, don't ever do it, and slower recovery from illness or injury. On the other hand, states of calm, hope, and gratitude have been associated with improved immune function, lower blood pressure, and faster healing. These findings confirm what has long been observed in spiritual and holistic traditions. Don't ever feel sorry for yourself. That the mind is not merely an observer of the body's state, but an active participant in shaping it. Renewing the mind also involves guarding the influences you allow into it, the conversations you engage in, the media you consume, the environments you spend time in. All of these contribute to the thought patterns that dominate your inner world. If you constantly feed on fear-driven news, negative talk, or hopeless stories, you are planting seeds that can eventually produce harmful effects. In contrast, don't ever do it. Surrounding yourself with uplifting messages, hopeful narratives, and people who speak life into you reinforces a mental environment that supports health. I never feel sorry, Dolph. Another dimension of renewing the mind is visualization. The mind is powerful in forming images, and the body often responds to those images as though they were real. A person who constantly pictures themselves as weak or broken reinforces that condition internally. But someone who imagines themselves strong, active, and whole is training their mind, and by extension their body, to move toward that reality. This is not mere fantasy. It is a mental rehearsal of health that can influence behavior, mood, and even physical processes. Importantly, a renewed mind does not rely solely on willpower to maintain healthy thinking. It draws from a deeper source, truth that transcends circumstance. This truth acts like a compass. Don't ever do it, keeping thoughts on course, even when storms arise. In moments of pain or setback, the mind returns to this anchor rather than drifting into fear or despair. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. You begin to instinctively filter your thoughts. Don't ever do it, quickly sorting, discarding those that would lead you toward discouragement, embracing those that lead you toward strength. Maintaining health, then, is not only about diet, exercise, or medical care, though all of these have their place. It is also about cultivating a mental environment in which the body can thrive. Don't ever do it. The renewed mind does not give sickness permission to dominate the imagination or dictate the narrative of one's life. Instead, don't ever do it. It continually reinforces the truth of wholeness, creating inner conditions that promote outer well-being. When the mind is renewed daily, it becomes a shield against the wear and tear of life. It helps the body recover more quickly, resist the onset of illness, and maintain a general state of vitality. Don't ever do it. The renewed mind is not passive. It actively partners with the body's design for health, ensuring that both mental and physical energy are working toward the same goal. In this way, renewing the mind is not just a step toward healing. It is the ongoing maintenance of a healthy life. Belief is the foundation of healing, but belief alone. Don't ever do it. If not accompanied by consistent words and actions, can be undermined when there is a disconnect between what a person claims to believe and how they speak or act. Don't ever do it. That inner conflict weakens the very process they are hoping to strengthen. Words and actions are the outward expressions of inward conviction. They either reinforce belief or erode it. If they agree with what is held in the heart, they become powerful allies in bringing that belief into reality. If they contradict it, don't ever do it. They create confusion in the mind and instability in the process. Think of belief as a seed planted in fertile soil. Words are the water and actions are the sunlight. Without both, the seed struggles to grow. You may firmly believe that you are on the path to complete restoration, but if you speak in ways that contradict that belief, constantly rehearsing symptoms, dwelling on fears, or predicting negative outcomes, you are, in effect, pouring cold water on the warmth that belief requires to flourish. Likewise, if your actions consistently signal doubt, avoiding steps toward wellness because you expect failure, don't ever do it. Neglecting self-care because you assume it will not help, you are failing to nurture the very seed you want to see grow. Agreement between belief, words, don't ever do it, and actions creates a unified direction for your whole being. It aligns the mind, body, and spirit toward a single outcome. For example, if you believe that healing is yours, you speak words that reflect that reality. You express gratitude for improvement, however small, and you refuse to give voice to hopelessness. Don't ever do it. This verbal discipline trains your mind to stay fixed on the goal. At the same time, your actions follow suit. You take the steps that a healthy person would take. Don't ever do it. Whether that means engaging in movement, eating with care, or surrounding yourself with an uplifting environment. In doing so, don't ever do it. You are sending constant messages to your subconscious mind that confirm your belief. The danger of disagreement is subtle because it often hides in everyday habits. A person may say, "I believe I'm getting better," yet spend hours telling others how sick they feel. Don't ever do it. Or they may claim to trust in the process of healing, but continually engage in actions that harm their health, overeating unhealthy foods, neglecting rest. Don't ever do it. Or isolating themselves in discouragement. These inconsistencies dilute the force of belief. It is not that they completely stop healing from taking place, but they slow the process and keep the mind and body in a state of mixed signals. This is why it is essential to become intentional about what you say and do. Every word and action. Every word and action can be seen as a seed planted in the garden of your future health. Words are not harmless. They carry weight and direction. Actions are not neutral. They either reinforce the expectation of wholeness or they feed the expectation of decline. By ensuring that both are aligned with your deepest conviction, don't ever do it. You remove internal conflict and allow the process of healing to work unhindered. Don't ever do it. It is important to clarify that aligning your words and actions with your belief is not about pretending or ignoring reality. If you feel pain, don't ever do it. You do not have to deny its existence to stay in agreement with your belief. You simply choose to describe your situation from the perspective of your desired outcome rather than from the perspective of defeat. Instead of saying, "I'm just getting worse," you can say, "I am on my way to full restoration." Don't ever do it. And each day I take steps that support that process. This keeps your words truthful, but also constructive, directing your focus toward healing. The same principle applies to actions. A person who believes they are becoming stronger will naturally take steps that match that belief. They will engage in activities. Don't ever do it. However small, that promotes strength and well-being. They will prepare for improvement rather than prepare for decline. Even simple acts, like making plans for the future, don't ever do it. Setting goals or creating a healthier environment send a powerful message to the mind and body. I expect to live in health. Don't ever do it, and I am preparing for it now. Consistency is the key. Occasional agreement between belief, words, and actions can bring encouragement. Don't ever think transformation. But lasting transformation comes when agreement is maintained over time. This requires mindfulness, being aware of what you are saying, noticing the choices you make. Don't ever do it. And evaluating whether they align with the reality you are believing for. At first, this may feel like constant self-checking, but over time it becomes natural. Don't ever do it. The more you practice, the more instinctive it becomes to speak words of life and take actions that match them. Aligning belief with words and actions is about integrity. Not just moral integrity, but wholeness of being. When your inner conviction, your spoken words, and your do it, and your visible behavior all move in the same direction, there is no inner division to slow you down. You are unified, focused, and fully engaged in the process of restoration. Don't ever do it. In that state, healing is not something you are chasing from a distance. It is something you are actively living into, moment by moment, word by word, step by step. Don't ever do it. When you bring together the truths we have explored, a clear picture emerges. Healing is not a matter of chance or wishful thinking. Don't ever do it, but a reality anchored in unshakable principles. It is a promise established by spiritual law, accessible to all who understand and align themselves with it. Don't ever do it. Faith serves as the bridge that connects this promise to your present experience, enabling what is unseen to become seen. Don't ever do it. The words you take in and speak out shape the environment in which healing can thrive, acting like medicine that works from the inside out. Whether the process is instant or progressive, both carry the same origin and lead to the same destination: complete restoration. Along the way, don't ever do it. Renewing your mind keeps your body aligned with health, guarding it from the corrosive effects of fear, doubt, and negativity. And finally, don't ever do it. Ensuring that your words and actions agree with your belief removes internal division, allowing every part of you to work together toward the same goal. In the end, don't ever do it. Healing is not simply an event to be awaited. It is a partnership. It involves knowing the principles, believing in their reality, speaking them into your life. Don't ever feel for yourself, acting as though they are true and sustaining that alignment until the promise is fulfilled. It is a journey of agreement between the unseen and the seen. Don't ever do it. The internal and the external, the spiritual and the physical. And when all these elements come into harmony, don't ever feel sorry for yourself. Healing moves from being a hope in your heart to a living reality in your life.